guys, welcome to vlogtober day 9. I didn't vlog pretty much yesterday. I don't know why actually. I thought that the day before that would be the day when I wouldn't vlog, but I ended up filming a lot. And yesterday I was just a bit overwhelmed, I think, with all the things I need to do on my main job, on my freelance jobs, personal life. Then we have this visa renewal coming up, residence permit renewal, which is honestly not that bad, but there are just a few bits and bobs I need to do. And for that, yesterday I went to the bank to pick up the paper about basically like my accounts, business accounts turnover. And it just fascinates me, the banking system in Serbia. First, that how it's all organized, things you can do online, things you cannot do online, things you can or cannot do in the office. Like, it's weird, but I think one of the more annoying bits about it is that I pay monthly for having an account, and still whenever I need any paper I get charged. Like, what the hell is this? Why do I pay you for the account if me requesting a couple of papers a quarter maximum, you know, maybe a couple of papers a year actually costs me money? Like, it's weird. I don't understand, but that's all right. And right now I'm running late for our communal run, and it's also a bit drizzly outside, which is not helping the situation. But I just couldn't get up today, honestly. I couldn't, and this was really hard. Even though I didn't go to sleep that late, but you know, it's autumn, so I think we're all feeling a bit more tired than we usually do, especially post-summer when it's getting a bit gray, a bit darker. But to be fair, here in Belgrade it's still pretty much summer, so I can't really say that we're in official autumn yet. But it does feel a bit grayish this morning, but it's also warm. I'm wearing long leggings and I'll be sweating like a pig, I think, because it's really nice and warm today. But okay, I'm gonna go because I can't really talk and walk fast. So I'm gonna rush to the stretch before the run, and I'll see you later.
Движение вторая, аккуратно тянет вниз.
I'm done running, walking back home, and I've taken a book on the shelf. It's called I Want to Die, But I Want to Eat Teokbokki, something like that. Sorry for butchering the name. And this is a book that I've seen a while ago. People were reading it here and there, and I always thought that maybe it's, you know, a bit silly, maybe it's good, I don't know. But I just didn't want to buy it, and now I saw it in the communal shelf and I grabbed it. It's about the girl, she works in, she's some successful media director or something like that, and she feels depressed. She starts seeing a therapist, and this book, as I understand, is a collection of her conversations with the therapist, and they're supposed to be hardcore. So I don't know if that's too much for me, for my soul right now, but I'll definitely give it a try, and I'll let you know if I like it. It's much later in the day now. I think it's 5:30, and my mom is coming over for dinner soon. She also came over yesterday and we ate the soup that I made. We still have some left, but today Alex, he wanted sushi, so that's what we ordered, some Japanese food. I am pretty much done working, I think, for the day. I'm just gonna read my books, edit the vlog, watch something on YouTube as well, and then also when my mom comes and we have dinner, after that I think I'll go and walk with her and Cookie, because our dog Cookie, she lives with my mom now while she's here, and I don't see her that much, honestly, and I miss her, and obviously I want to spend extra time with my mom. And earlier today I went to the lawyer's office. I brought them all the papers that we need to submit to extend our residence permit, and technically we could have done it ourselves, I think. There's a lot of like instructions and guides online that tell you how to do like every step, but honestly, even though like it's obviously nice to save money and we also need 2 residence permits, so it's twice as expensive, but so we could have tried and do it ourselves and save on the lawyer's costs, but I kind of want to be on the safe side, you know. I want them to kind of lead the whole process, and then if something happens or something isn't right, which knock on wood will not be, everything's gonna be okay, but just in case, you know, that I have someone who can take care of it for me. But I think if we extend after like this one, when we apply for the next one, if we do that, I think at that point we can try and do it ourselves, but hopefully this will be not very soon yet. So yeah, I'm very happy that all of that is done. I basically just started collecting the papers, and Alex as well. We just started on Monday and today is Wednesday afternoon and we're already done. So that went pretty smooth and that's great. But I was still kind of stressed during those few days. So it feels really good to not have it on my plate. And I also wanted to actually chat with you about running, not about all the random stuff I've been doing all day. I just wanted to say that I'm now, as you saw earlier today, I went for a run, and right now I'm running with the guys once a week. I used to go to every single run that the club had, which was, first it was just the Sunday, then they added, I think first they added Wednesday, then there was also Friday, or maybe first Friday then Wednesday. Now there are also runs on Tuesday and Saturday, like in the other part of the city, further away from me, and I don't go that much anymore, and I also don't go to all the runs that are happening in the immediate neighborhood, and I have those conflicting feelings about it. On one end, I want to run more and I want to run with the guys, but then on the second, I have other things to do, and also sometimes I'm just lazy, and I miss like this community feeling. When I come on Wednesdays, I try to not miss Wednesdays, at least it's my favorite day, because it's in the morning, it's before the work starts, and you kind of get to be active and talk to everyone, see people, and kind of have this little life before you start working, which is nice. And yeah, I think I should really run more, and I should exercise more, definitely. But I wanted to quickly talk about running in a sense that I used to be such a hater, and honestly I don't think I know anyone who enjoyed running as a child when they were growing up. So I feel like this is one of those things, like, you know, many people do not like olives when they're kids, or coffee for example, and then when you grow up you learn to appreciate the foods and the drinks, and I think the same applies to running as well. Like, it's not something you enjoy doing whilst you're young, unless you're an athlete, right? But once you grow older and you kind of, it's not pushed down on you, like you don't have to do it as a part of PE, for example, at school, right? But it's your conscious choice, you decide to try it, that's when you kind of fall in love with it. And for me, I don't think I was running at all as an adult, and then my parents and we went to Vienna in Austria, and we accidentally went on the weekend when a Vienna marathon was hosted, and we just got to see how it's organized, watched like the event happen, runners run, right, and finish on the finish line, and the whole atmosphere of the city. It was like one big festival, one big celebration. This was really nice. I think it also coincided with Easter that year, so this was, you know, a lot was going on there, and I kind of watched it with my own eyes, saw it with my own eyes, and I thought that it looks pretty cool and I want to try. And then I went back home. I was already working at the time, and I found a colleague. Like I used to work in this big IT company where we obviously had a lot of younger people working, and there was a colleague of mine once that I knew, and I specifically targeted her with my offer to run the marathon together next year, because I knew she was the only person crazy enough to actually commit and follow through. And so yeah, she said yes to the dress, and we bought the tickets for the marathon, not the flight tickets, because it was so far off, you know. I just came back in April, and then the marathon was next April, so in a year's time. But you could already buy like a place in marathon, you could reserve it. And so we started training, I think, around the end of August, and we trained throughout autumn, winter, and early spring until the marathon itself, which was pretty tough in the northern climate. And we did it it was brilliant. We did a half marathon, actually, not the entire thing. Important note, I should say, that we did 21K, not 42. And honestly, I don't have any motivation to run a full marathon. Like, it's not for me. I don't want to train for it. I think it's too much. I definitely don't want to do it. But we ran 21K. It was great. But then we didn't run after that for maybe a year and a half because we were so fed up with training. I think we overtrained as well because we didn't really have, like, we had a system, but not really, you know. We were running way too much. We did run maybe 3 to 4 times a week, which in itself is not a problem, but we had a lot of longer runs, so maybe think 13, 15, 17K. We pretty much never did the 5K runs. It's like we started with like 3 kilometers, then 5, then 6, 7, and then at some point I don't think we went below 10K, which is again also not too much necessarily, right? But we did train a lot, and we also started like, I don't know, we started in late August, early September, and then the marathon was in April, so it was a long time, right? And for us to run so much, so intensely. So this was a huge mistake, I think, and that's why we also were just fed up. By the time we finished it, we were like, never running again. And then this was many years ago, and before I joined this club, running club here in Belgrade, I used to run like every so often, you know, well, not really, actually, every once in a while. Sometimes I wouldn't run for a couple of years, and then I would have, like in summer I would run regularly and then forget about it again. So there was no regularity, right? I wasn't doing it consistently throughout the year, for example. And same applied here in Belgrade. I started running by myself, and then I accidentally stumbled upon, I think, one of the cafes where the runs were starting, like we have those starting points, right? The club partners with the coffee shops, with cafes, where we can leave our stuff, and then after the run is finished, we go in there and eat and stuff like that. So I think one of those restaurants reposted that there's a run happening, and it turned out that the club was launched 2 years ago in November, and I think my first run with them was on January 2nd, so right after the new year. So I joined pretty early on, and this was pretty great because I saw it kind of grow, and so many people were joining and are still joining, and I got to meet so many people. Being a part of the running club changed my life. No, it didn't change my life, but it definitely helped my consistency, definitely kept me motivated, because it was no longer just a training that you're doing, but this was a whole event, right? The social event. And whenever I would miss out on a run because I was either lazy, sick, or out of town, I would have a huge FOMO after when I saw the photos being posted and stuff like that. So yeah, I just really think running... there are so many jokes online about running clubs being one of the signals of your midlife crisis, and I don't care. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It's a bit too early for me to have a midlife crisis, but maybe I have some crisis of sorts, because, you know, life is tough over the past few years, and it's never really been easy either, but yeah, whatever. And also, running clubs are the new Tinder and like new dating apps. That's another meme that I kind of agree with. I don't know actually if a lot of people in our running club are hooking up, but definitely I think like it's a good place to meet at least like-minded people you can become friends with. That's how I met a lot of I don't know if I can call them friends yet necessarily, but a lot of good acquaintances, right? People I can hang out with, grab coffee, talk about some meaningful stuff, you know, not just shallow conversations. And this is very precious. This is very, like, I love it, and it would not be possible without this running club. So yeah, those running clubs, they are a good, just good overall. You can become consistent with your exercises, you get to meet a lot of people, and you just, yeah, it's great. I love it. So I don't know where you guys live, if you have running clubs that you're a part of, let me know, or if you kind of have any other club. I used to go to a book club as well back in St. Petersburg, but I don't know if that exists still. I think they went on a break when COVID started. I don't know if they came back from that, but I used to go there for maybe like 4 years, maybe even longer, and we would meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. and we would just talk about all sorts of books. This was so great, and that's where I met one of my very good friends, Natalie. If you're watching this, hi. And yeah, a lot of just interesting people. So I definitely think all kinds of clubs are very good for networking, for your mental health, for committing to some activity, whether it's sport or into something intellectual or like anything, right? And I don't know, I think I'm very, I'm very introverted actually. I think as I grew older, I learned to kind of be more extroverted, but inside I'm just fine at home. You know, COVID was no problem for me. Sitting at home 24/7, no issue whatsoever. I was fine with it, absolutely. Not talking to, like, not seeing many people, like, fine, again, completely fine by me. But even I get to enjoy those kind of social gatherings, you know, and I understand how good it is for me and how interesting it is. So if you are shy about it, but there is some club you really want to join, I would recommend it. And yeah, that's how I stuck to running again. And I'm super glad I came to this communal run at first, and I got to meet people also, because at the I was lucky that at the start there were not too many people there, and I get very shy when there's a huge group. And at some point the club was growing, and there were so many new runners all the time that I would kind of, if you would finish the run and everybody were, you know, like in high school we had this cafe where everyone would sit, and you had to kind of find a table for you to sit, and if there were no people that I knew, or no people that I knew kind of well and I talked to, I would sometimes be like, pack up and leave, you know, right after running, because I was just overwhelmed with the crowd. But because I joined so early on, when there were not too many runners at first, right, I got to kind of get to know those first runners better, and that's how I felt more comfortable throughout this whole experience. So yeah. Anyway, I think I've talked for way too much, way too long. So thank you so much again for coming to yet another TED Talk with me. And I think the sun is about to set, so it's gonna get really dark now. And I'm gonna go... Actually, it's a perfect time to read on our balcony, because it's been pretty hot today. It's, I think, maybe plus 24, 25 degrees, which is insane in October, but whatever. And it's great that this temperature feels so much better than, easier, lighter, colder than it was in summer, because if we had 25 in summer, you'd be much more sweaty and exhausted. But today we just had a few hours where it was like kind of warmish, because it's not hot every day, right? So the air is not as heated up, and that's good. But now I can enjoy my time on the balcony before the bugs came out with the sunset. So I'm gonna do that before the dinner, and I'll catch up with you later.